So welcome everybody to another episode of Slow Secrets. My name is Julie Spark, and today we are going to speak about investment. Not so much about stocks, bonds, or crypto, but we are going to talk about giving back. And for that, I have invited today someone that I admire deeply, Lucy. Welcome, Lucy.
Hello, thanks, Julie.
So I met Lucy on the island of Gili Air because she was traveling through, and a friend of us put us in contact because she wanted to do something for the local school. I had created the Soraya Foundation 4 years earlier for that specific reason, because I wanted to realize the islanders' dreams. So that island had given me so much magic, and I found a way to give back some of that magic. And I remember, Lucy, when I met you, you came to me and you said, I want to run a marathon around the island. So that's like 8.5 times around the island, and I want to do something for the school. And I remember looking at you and thinking, oh my God, she is unbelievable. She's going to run 8.5 times around the island for the kids, which I found was just amazing.
Yeah.
Lucy!
Well, it was amazing, totally amazing.
And probably hard as well.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
So after that, I shared with you the next Islander's dream, which was a really, really important one to me, which was to create a library for the kids of the island.
Yeah.
Then, not only did you manage to make that dream into reality, but you also took it to the next level. And by gathering the island's community, you actually managed to renovate, together with other people, of course, the entire school and all the classrooms.
Unbelievable.
So, Lucy, tell us more about yourself and tell us how you ended up being here with us in Gili Air.
Yeah, thanks, Julie. So I was traveling in Indonesia starting in January 2020. I meant to come for just a month and a half, and I ended up staying a year and a half. And I traveled all around Indonesia, but I landed on Gili Air in September. And after just one day, really, but 3 days on the island, I knew like, this is my place. Like, felt so comfortable there. It has such this, like the magic you say, right? Such this welcoming presence and vibe. And I could feel myself changing already. So come November 2020, I decided to move there permanently, and permanently as much as possible. And I spent about 2 months just getting to know people, getting to know the island, getting into my routines and habits. And then about mid-January, I was just thinking, I love this place so much. Like, what can I do? Like you said, this investment, what can I bring? And looking into my experience and what I'm good at, I'm a former kindergarten and first grade teacher. And then I was the program director for a literacy organization here in California. And so I was like, well, obviously education is where what I know the most about. And when I got connected with you, I remember being like, wow, like it's so cool. Someone is already doing something like this on the island. And I remember that first conversation we had, just you telling me the history of Soraya and the different things and initiatives you have done. And when in that meeting you said library, I was like,
yeah,
library, like this is perfect. It's aligning my love for education, my love for literacy. And I just and things moved so quickly from there. It was the next day, I think we were sitting at the with the Kapladesa and like starting to plan, and thinking about timing.
Boom.
And it felt really fast at first, but I knew like you were handing me off to the right people, and that like it was all gonna work.
Yeah. If it's meant to happen, it happens on the platter, right?
Yeah. Even if it's scary. And I remember feeling a little like, gosh, I don't even know like who to talk to. Construction is already not my forte. Like it's all this design. Like, what do I need? Who do I need? What are the resources around here? And so like the first few weeks, I remember just kind of like feeling it out, and then things kind of took off.
Yeah, awesome. So what inspired you to kind of take action, and what helped you to realize what you were aspiring for the school?
Yeah. Well, it started, so that next day when we met with the head of the island and an official from the school, and we walked into the existing library. I mean, first I was surprised that there was already an existing library, but also just like, not shocked, but just like, wow, like what a wasted resource. They had all these books, remember, but they were just in
Yeah.
piles in
Oh
the
my God.
corner
It
and
was
the bookshelves. It was like a labyrinth in
every
there.
box
And
in
yet,
there. I was like, oh, la
yeah,
carrière
I
d'Ali
know.
Baba.
Yeah, yeah.
Full of
And
treasure, but like so dusty you cannot see them.
exactly. And yet there were kids in there, like like picking up books and flipping through. So I could tell there was a desire, and all that they needed was just a transformation, right? And
Yeah.
so after kind of seeing it, and for me, like organizing is I love. So like
And I think
once we
also
started,
the
yeah,
fact that we gave importance to it, you know?
yeah, yeah,
Also, because everything
exactly.
is a question of perception. So their perception of the kids, I mean, probably changed the moment that you like came in there with like your whole, tribe of islanders
Yeah.
and just made it into this magic library where everybody wants to go, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. And it kind of validated that like reading is important. And that was a big thing for me is like, first, they just need access to books. Like kids naturally kind of are drawn towards books and reading and stories and gaining new information and nonfiction texts and things like that, right?
Yes.
Um, but they need help getting there, right? They need the
Yeah.
resources, they need to know where to find the books they're interested in, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But given that, I mean, they'll just take off.
Yeah. I think you heard or you people mentioned that there is a literacy gap in Gili Air.
Yeah.
That students
Yeah.
aren't so much into reading, and
Yeah.
I kind of want to say hashtag books over phones because I kind of want to
Yeah.
take this message out into the whole world and be like,
Yeah.
what, what do we see with the kids of our friends or of our kids, or are they on a tablet or are they on a book? And if they're
Mhm.
on a tablet, are they actually reading or,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah. And I mean, there's a few reasons I think that is. I mean, I think that the parents of most of the students are also not readers. I don't think books are really common in homes on Gili Air.
Yeah.
One, because they're expensive.
Yeah.
Books are not cheap. And also they're hard to find. There are a few bookstores in Lombok, but no bookstores on Gili Air. I mean, I hadn't seen a book the whole time I had been there, and but by the time I started ordering, especially ordering new books that the kids had requested, at one
Oh,
point they
wow.
were like wanting comic books. And so I sat with them and they kind of looked on the online bookstore with me and were like picking the ones they wanted. And then for them to see those arrive, like then they want it, right? They want to have some choice and some autonomy in it. Yeah. But I think also, the way reading is taught there is a little different as well. They're taught very like word by word, monotone, not taught to read with expression. It's just decoding. And so it doesn't sound fluid and natural when they're listening to it. And then that's how they sound. So they need not just this library, but they really need a robust reading program, as well. But that maybe is the next project when I come back.
Love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So I love this mural at the center of the library, which is like
Mhm.
a clear message. And c'est moi orang boleh membaca. What does it
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. So semua orang is like all people. Boleh membaca is like can read. That's sort of like the the literal translation, but really it's like what the message we wanted to portray was like reading is for everyone. Yeah,
Yes.
everyone can read, and reading is for everyone. And in that, we even have shelves in the library that are like advanced subjects, like more for adults or for teachers. And then we have like the very early readers, with like sounding out phonics books, in English. And we're working on finding ones similar in Indonesian. But reading really is for everybody, because even if you're not picking up a book, you're walking through the world and you're reading every day.
Yeah, I
you
agree.
know
Couldn't agree more.
yeah,
Obviously, I'm a
yeah,
writer to become, and I read 50 books a year. So I'm a big reader. I love it with all my heart. So just for the auditors, if you guys want to sponsor or donate to Lucy's awesome program, you can go in the comments
yeah.
and there will be a link for you to click on.
Awesome.
So what remains a miracle to me that has been living on this island for 10 years is how the first month where you went traveling, you went off the island and
Yeah.
you returned and all the books remained organized. How did you pull that off?
Well, this was surprising to me at first, and then I thought, how could it be so perfect? And then I figured it out, because as we were creating the library, the doors, if I was there, the doors were always open. I mean, I think there were maybe 2 or 3 days where I had to tell some students, like, today you can't come in, because we were organizing the books, and if a kid walked through, like, the organization would have been destroyed, right? Like every square inch of the floor was covered with books that we were sorting. So there were, yes, a few days, but I mean, the kids were even in there, painting from day one, cleaning, dusting off the books before we put them back on the
Yeah, I
shelves.
remember it was so cute.
It's so sweet,
Oh my
right?
God, so cute.
I know, and they just wanted to be there, and for there was a core group of maybe 10 kids from the neighborhood. Some go to the school and some are too young, but they were with me there every single day. And when it finally came time, we'd sort of set the books up into, categories that made sense, put them on the shelves, label the shelves, and then put a number, because we wanted the kids to be able to know how to put them back and where to put them. But a Dewey Decimal System or something, very formal wasn't the way we wanted to do it. So we ended up just getting a Sharpie and writing in the front cover of every book the number of the shelf where the book belongs. And then the idea is, when the kids pick up the book, they just look on the shelf for the ones that match, because there are many sets of books, and they tuck it back in, right? So because the kids were there, like actually sharpieing the books, and putting them back on the shelves, they understood the system.
Yeah.
We didn't have to teach them, because they watched us create it. They helped us create it.
Teach children how to think, not what to think.
Yeah, exactly.
Not put the book
Exactly.
back where the number is. No, you actually
Right.
made this with me, so you understand the
Yeah,
process. And also, we are
exactly.
stronger together than we are alone. So you
Yeah,
brought in the community. You didn't lock it up and made it yourself, and then showed like you actually,
yeah,
allowed everyone to be part of it. They felt
yeah,
part of it. They are part of
yeah.
it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And my favorite part about coming back first, it was kind of like that trepidation as I unlocked the library, like, what am I going to find? And then I opened the door and I was like, like, oh my God, it's perfect. Like, I don't even think I had to put a book back the other direction. That's something they were still kind of working on. And I went to the back where there's like a teacher table, and there was a book, a new book I hadn't seen before, like a notebook, and I opened it up, and it wasn't a check out system, because they decided not to let kids take books home yet.
Good idea.
First, we need to take care of the books at school, right?
Yeah.
But it was a check-in system. It was like the kids were writing their name and like when they came to the library and how long they read for. And I thought that was so cute, like they're yeah, tracking their use of the library, but also writing down how many minutes. It's so cool.
Wow.
And that was just all on their own. So yeah.
So the reaction from the kids is pretty obvious. They're really excited. And
Yeah.
what about the reaction of the officials or the parents of the children?
Yeah. Well, to add a little to the kids, I mean, it was really fun to be in there when school was in session, right? Because the kids would walk by. The library is right in the center, right? So it's class 1, 2, 3 on one side and 4, 5, 6 on the other. So at recess or whatever, they're always walking past and peeking in. And sometimes they would come in for just a few minutes and read. Sometimes they would come in for like what felt like a whole class period and read. But my favorite thing of watching the students' reaction was when they realized that there were two of the same book of something they were interested in, that they could sit on these little carpets we got and read with a friend and like be
Oh,
looking at the same book, but have their own copy. I
that's
have
so
these great
cute.
photos of kids just sharing books and pointing at each other's and
Oh,
looking.
when
And
I was organizing, I was thinking, oh my God, we've got 4 of this. Like, why? Oh my God, it's amazing.
right, but this is the reason, right? And if teachers were strategic, they could then take those sets into the class and do group work. I mean, so many ways to go when you have more than one copy of a book, right? One kid sees like, oh, I want that book, and it's like, well, great, here it is. You can read it too. So that was super fun to see them not just reading alone, but reading together. And then in terms of parents, they don't come to campus. Most of the kids ride their bicycles to school or walk, right?
Yeah,
And there aren't too many, as far as I know, like parent events. So I didn't interact with parents other than, sorry.
actually be a really good idea.
Yeah, no, it would be. I mean, I would love to see
Um,
more, yeah, more families come in and see the space. But we had community members and the parents of the younger kids who came every day. They came in a few times, and just in Indonesian, right, which is not my first language, but I
yeah,
could hear that they were saying like, wow, thank you, and
this
it
is
was sort of,
to
yeah,
expand it for the future. Like, ask the kids to bring a parent if they wish, and
yeah.
do like a reading together.
Oh,
I mean, this
absolutely.
is
I
like
mean,
a
and
dream for me. I would love to do a reading for the kids in that library. It's made for that, right?
oh, absolutely. And this was our original idea, was like creating not just a library, but the space that is an educational space that can host different events and things like that. So I hope that's coming. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, and the officials, I mean, the teachers were sweet. They weren't very involved. Teachers kind of come to school, they teach, and they go right home. I did that when I was a teacher sometimes too, right? You just want to, go off to your own thing. Um, and so they peeked in a few times throughout the process, as well as the headmaster. And one of my favorite days was the headmaster came in, and he like was picked a book up off the shelf, and he sat down and read it in the library. Yeah, just sat on the floor and read, and I was like, he appreciates it. So it was great.
Perfect. Oh, wow. What a story. So, Slow Investment is also kind of a book and a space to inspire people to listen to the whispers of their soul and to actually, get things done. It's not
Yeah,
just a dream, you can make it a reality, always. So,
yes.
what would be the advice that you would give to someone who really always dreamed to do the same, but isn't really
Mm,
as go gather there as us to
yeah.
actually realize that dream? What would be your advice?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that I would say, and this goes along with the marathon as well, is like say it out loud. Tell people your dream. Tell people what you want to do and frame it as like, I'm going to do this,
Yeah.
and not like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if it's like, no, I'm going to run a marathon, everybody. So like now suddenly you have this layer of accountability. Like we're going to redesign the school library. Like
Yeah.
who wants to help, and by saying it out loud and finding your connections, um it's so much more likely to come true, right? Then
Yeah.
you have people supporting and then asking about it, like, oh, how's the library going, what do you need, do you need anything, like I've got time this weekend, can I come by, and that community effort just sort of came out of just openly sharing, and I was very transparent from the beginning, like I don't really know what I'm doing, like I've never created a library before, I understand a lot about literacy and children's books and things like that. But this was new. So I was like, anyone who wanted to help, I was like, yes, yes, yes.
Actually, I would say the same. For me, it would be ask for help.
Yeah,
Ask people that already did it. Because, I mean, I've contacted so many people that are really high and that I admire,
yeah,
just to ask them if I can pick their brain. Because usually they're allowed
yeah,
to, they're happy to
yeah,
share what they already did.
yes,
And you can
yes,
learn from their mistakes and you can, yeah, just do it,
yeah,
just do it.
totally. I did that actually. I called the librarian from my old school
Yeah.
in the library one day. I brought her in on Zoom and I was like,
Yeah.
here's what it looks like. What do you think? How should we arrange it?
Uh,
And she gave me actually a lot of reassurance. Like, it doesn't have to follow any system. Like, you just have to create something that works for them. And
yeah.
and that's what it is.
That is very
So,
important in charity. So I'm going to tell a
yeah,
little story about charity,
yeah.
about carrots. I don't know if I told you this story. My friend
I
goes
would
on a
love to.
boat, sails through Indonesia, and arrives on this island in Raja Ampat, which is, you know, the last paradise on earth. And
Yes.
there is a whole set of volunteers, and they're setting up this amazing project about carrots because they've analyzed the ground and, it's perfect climate, and we're going to do this carrot story. So my friend arrives there, and the volunteers are having a very tough time with the local community and
Mhm.
implementing this carrot story. And my friend speaks very good Indonesian, obviously, because he's been sailing Indonesia for a while. And the woman in charge says, "Oh, could you please talk to the locals and try to understand why they're not more into our project, and because we really want to help them." And then my friend says, "Sure, no problem." And he goes and talks to one of the elders there. And he has a really nice talk with him, sits down, has a coffee. And then he says, "So what about this volunteer, story?" And the local looked at him and he says, "Yeah, we come here with all this whole story, and but we don't even like carrots."
Right.
I
What are you doing
also,
spending all this time
I
on
mean,
carrots?
no
Right.
negativity involved in my story. It's just I think if we can give also someone else another advice. I think I
Yeah.
also made the same mistakes when I arrived in Gili Air. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna change the world. I see many people, but
Yeah.
before you change the world, maybe you ask the people of the world you want to change what they want, you know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
together is the way. So
Oh,
ask.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely,
So,
definitely. And that really rings true for what, how the library, the completion of the library, and that opening day we had where, people from the community came, we did a final raffle fundraiser, and it was just like this really bright sort of celebration of literacy. And we did a read aloud in English and Bahasa. It was beautiful. But a few people that day kind of also peeked into the classrooms, and saw now there was just this clear difference between the state of the library and the state of the classrooms. And so that's where the idea to kind of renovate those came from. And as a, classroom teacher here, private school in California, like I have very specific idea of what a classroom should look like, right? And these classrooms couldn't be any different, but I had to kind of stop myself and be like, no, what I have in my mind is not what they need, like. And so when we were trying to design the furniture and the space, it was really a collaboration with the teachers, and what do they want and what's functional for
yes.
the way they teach and how they teach.
I also want to mention Lemo from Enjoy
Yeah.
Life, which we will
Yes.
also put in the comments. His link.
Yeah.
He's doing some amazing work for the island since this year, and really, if you're into all of that, follow him.
Yeah, absolutely. Once the classroom, the idea to renovate the classrooms kind of started, he developed a whole plan to revitalize the entire campus, redo the play yard, build bicycle racks. There's gardening happening in the back. And he oversaw the whole project with David's team, who was of the Toucans, who was our construction team. And they went in, and I think it was like 3 months or less, maybe during Ramadan even.
Yeah.
And they blasted, I mean, the classrooms from one thing to like a complete 180. Yeah,
Wow, like a proper
exactly.
renovation.
Oh, proper renovation. And
Yeah.
on July 12th was the first day of school this year. And so they had sort of the grand opening of these kids getting to walk into these new classrooms that have color and are clean, and the roof has been lifted. So there's all this brightness and
So important.
openness and new whiteboards and new furniture. And it's like beautiful.
Yeah, I
Such
find
a,
when
yeah.
you clean your living space, you actually clean yourself.
Yeah.
And when you enter this new space,
Yeah.
it kind of, I'm sure it's really playing a big role on, yeah, the perception of children on education.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope so.
Congratulations, and thank you from the
Yeah.
bottom of my heart, because I love
Yeah.
Ireland to bits, and seeing that school get transformed like this, thanks to all the people that were involved in
Oh, yeah. I
this,
think in total we had
lifts my.
over 30 volunteers, people who came in to actually help
Yeah.
clean, paint, organize, and over 50 donors who sponsored, everything from, just like a few books to a whole classroom renovation. So it was really thanks to not just me, but to every single set of hands and hearts who helped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But you were the driving force.
Yeah, there has to be a point person. I guess
You
that was
always
me. I'll
need
take credit
the
for that.
superhero that's in the front,
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Everyone's
was
like,
just
oh, I
leading the
want to
way,
help,
and
but I don't want to do it.
yes, right, exactly. There were those people too, right? Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
sure. So on a more personal level, what did you experience as a person? I find there's a lot of power in a good deed.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, yeah, it became sort of my life, like I went from this island, like, oh, what am I going to do today? Like, go read a book on the beach, or like go have lunch with a friend or coffee, to like every day I was waking up and I was at the library, right? And so it gave me a renewed purpose, which I hadn't had for a while.
Yeah.
And watching the transformation just reminded me of why I went into education in the first place, and the reason for that is really
Wow.
just the look on the students' faces, on kids' faces when they're learning, when they discover something new. And I realized that for some of these kids, I mean, they've certainly seen like school books in terms of like workbooks and things, but for some of these kids, this was maybe the first time they had really picked up a book that had characters they related to and had stories that they wanted to read, right? Or topics that they were interested in,
Yeah.
especially the littlest ones who would come in and like be looking at books and just like their eyes were glowing, And so for me, just it gave me back that reassurance that like education is the right field for me. Like that's something I want to always
My
stay in
father,
touch with.
JL,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
celebrity of Gili Air. Anyway, he always used to say, I will never give you inheritance, but I'll give you education. That will be an
uh,
inheritance.
oh, that's
Which is
beautiful though,
also
right?
what inspired me to give back to the school, starting with the school because of education. I was like, okay, if I wanted
Yeah,
to give magic back, I can do it through education, right? Oh,
absolutely.
fantastic. So to close, I would like to ask you maybe to give 3 action points for people
Yeah.
who would like to do the same.
Yeah, I mean, I think back to the same, like say it out loud. If you have a dream, if you have that intuition, that gut feeling like something is calling you, say it out loud, start talking about it, right? And just by doing that, you're going to find those connections. So that's, point 2 is like find the connections, find the resources, and sometimes they just, like you said, like they come to you, right? Once you've opened that door. um, and then third is just like believe.
Yeah,
like see it as if it's already happened, like there's an amazing library on Gili Air. It's not built yet, but it's like it's already there, because
yeah,
it's in all of us, and like we are going to make this happen. And so like for me, there was never a question of like if we're going to finish or that. It was like, no, it's already happened, we're just getting there. If
yeah,
that makes sense, right? It's like if you're climbing Mount Rinjani, the top is already there, right? And you could say like, but you just have to get there. It's already there though.
yeah,
And holding that belief, and yeah, and pausing to appreciate along the way all the help you have.
yeah. Focus on the present moment.
Yeah, yeah,
So thank you so much for
yeah.
being a
Thank you,
guest on
Julie.
our podcast. And thank you for listening, everybody, with our investment series. We encourage you to follow your dreams because they know the way. I wish you all a
Okay.
beautiful day. And I send you so much love from the boat because I'm on a boat today.
Yeah. Ah, happy reading, everybody.
Slow secrets. Bloopers. Yay! I cannot hear you, but I'm so happy to see you. Voilà.
Yay! Wait, where are you? Are you on a boat?
I am on a boat.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I
Oh.
wasn't sure what you meant when you said I'll be on the boat. I assumed like Akajaya, but that's the wrong time. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
might get cooked, but it's okay.
Oh, yeah. Be
Um,
careful. Yeah.
Obviously, hopefully, we'll have people listening in the future, and then
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I think it's very inspiring what you did, and it's a story worth sharing. Then I think here I'll talk about the marathon that you told me that you wanted to run a
Ah,
marathon, 8.5
okay.
times around the island, which I thought was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
insane. And whatever is insane usually makes people take action, so it's great. And then so Lucy, whatever you want to say, it's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
your story. So the point of slow investment is to inspire people to listen to the whispers of their soul and to create their dreams.
Mm-hmm.
May it be a
Mm-hmm.
business, may it be, it's
Yeah.
the fact that you came in that created the snowball effect. I know you never want
Mm-hmm.
to take credit for what you do, but it's thanks to you.
No, you're right. You're right. Okay, I'm gonna stop my video for a second.
Oh, I want
Then
to
I was like,
take it. Come on, it's on recording.
ah.
It's gonna be the opening.
Oh.
You're gonna get 1 million views. Wait.
I think it might be you. My connection seems really solid.
Obviously,
Yeah. You
obviously.
never know. You're on a boat in the middle of Lombok, but
Come on, connection.
I know.
Okay, I
Come
hope
back.
it's gonna work. It's okay.
Happen.
I can just cut that out. So
Exactly.
I'll just put it here. And then, I mean, how many kids do you actually see with books? They're probably on their tablets, all of them. Reading
Yeah.
a book, I don't
Yeah.
think so. And
Mm-hmm.
what it will do to kind of education to be on tablets instead of, of books.
Yeah.
I mean, books are so important.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll just close saying how fucking amazing and inspiring you are, and without the fucking and slow secrets.